reached 200 career steals. Smith feeds it off. Beautifully done to Jakari Harris. His fourth dish.
Our fans are what you want from your team. You want consistency. Like, they show up, like, no matter what. Like, we get beat by Iowa State, they still show up. You want to have an exhibition game versus a Division III team, they show up. Like, this is their deal. And so that's what I always tell our guys and talk about. I said, like, man, be grateful for what you have. I go, but also, like, we got to use them. We got to use them. They're there for us. But if we don't play well, like, it doesn't matter. Like, but they're fabulous, man. We're very fortunate to have the fan base and the alumni base that we have at Purdue.
Welcome back to the Central Indiana Sports Report, Boilermaker fans, for a special edition of the Purdue Report. Jake Dunn's reaction to Purdue's 79-59 win over Marquette, and that was John Fanta and Jess Settles on the call of one of Braden Smith's many nice plays. And then, of course, that was Matt Painter on Peacock with John Fanta and Jess Settles talking about the crowd at Mackey Arena. And Jake, that is a special place, isn't it?
It is. Excited to be back there here at towards the end of the month.
And that is 3 straight really, really good halves the Boilermakers have put together. The second half against Minnesota, and then the entire game, particularly the first half, but then the first 10 minutes of the second half as well, against a not great Marquette team, but a dangerous Marquette team.
Yeah, I think Purdue could have won by about 40 if they really wanted to. I think Matt Painter was being a little nice and not not really keeping the foot on the gas. But yeah, Purdue definitely could have won by more than they did. But still a good showing. Pretty good team effort. Oscar Clough played really well. Really seeing the his value and why the staff brought him here in the offseason. So glad to start seeing him kind of come out of a shell.
You talked about could have been 40 points, and you're right about that. And Oscar Clough could have pretty much done whatever he wanted. Every time he had the ball, he did something positive with it. And he attacked the offensive boards like he always does.
Every game I was so impressed with his, knack for finding the ball on offensive rebounds. He had 11 total rebounds, 4 of them were offensive. Got a knack for the ball. So he's a guy that, would probably be pretty frustrating to have on the other team, but a guy that you're pretty glad is on your team for sure.
And, of course, if you look at it, it's an all-time great Purdue Boilermaker performance. Just 23 minutes, 22 points, 9 for 9 from the field, 4 for 4 from the line, 11 rebounds, as you said. He only had 1 assist, but he did a great job moving the ball all night. 2 steals, 2 blocks, and as you mentioned, 4 of his rebounds came on the offensive end. The clear MVP of this game.
For sure. Clear MVP, and you look at guys like Braden Smith and TKR. Their box scores may not jump right out at you, but I feel like their leadership really set the tone for this game. Whenever those guys are really trying on defense and giving a lot of effort out there, I think the rest of the team kind of sees that and follows. So I thought Braden Smith did a really good job defensively, roaming, disrupting passing lanes, creating some turnovers, and Matt Painter called him in the press conference. Really good free safety, and I think that's a pretty good description. And hopefully, Coach Odom will try to recruit him over to the football field.
And his spectacular passes, just one after the other yesterday, all year, passes that you don't think are going to work, and they do. A couple of just memorable ones. He ended up with 10 more and became the second player in NCAA history and the first in a major conference to have 1,500 points, 850 assists, and 550 rebounds, and he's an all-time great.
Yes, he is. And I think his response to that accolade says quite a bit about him and about this team. Braden's done at least on the outside doesn't seem like a big individual achievement type of guy. But he's said all year and in the offseason too that winning a title is the only thing that matters. That's why he came back to Purdue. Could have tested the NBA waters, could have transferred somewhere else for more money, but he's set on Purdue, and Purdue is definitely glad to have him. And that mindset is why Purdue looks the way that it does right now.
And when Fletcher Lawyer's shooting like that, Purdue is going to be really hard to beat.
There's a couple of games I would say he didn't look particularly too good, but 15 points, had 4 threes. His decision making was pretty good too. There was a few times throughout the game where he saw Oscar Clough's mismatches and delivered him the ball. He had a lot of good practice, throwing the ball into Zach Edey on those post-entry passes, and it's kind of paid off here with Oscar Clough as well. It's a good sign that the team is, a mature and smart team, and not just shooters. That they're willing to pass the ball to, even if it is down low to Oscar Clough.
And all those numbers, the thing that jumped out to me the most was on the defensive end. Marquette had a really hard time getting offense going. Shot 33% from the field, 8 for 31 from behind the three-point line. Purdue forced 12 turnovers as well and had 12 offensive rebounds. Of course, we'll get to a couple of negatives coming up here in a minute, but not a lot. But the defense I thought was the key.
Since the Iowa State game, the defense has been pretty locked in. To your point, they forced 12 turnovers. They held Marquette to under 41% shooting, and in the second half, they shot under 30%. Marquette did, so really good rim protection from the big guys, Oscar Clough, TKR, and Daniel Jacobson, and on the perimeter, CJ Cox and Jakari Harris have been doing a really good job here as well. And again, for me, it kind of goes back to Braden Smith and TKR setting that tone defensively. So when you see Braden Smith going out there and trying hustling on defense, getting active in passing lanes and getting steals, gets me kind of fired up. So I can only imagine what it does for people that he actually plays with.
Off the bench, I thought Jack Benter scored 5 points. I thought he's been really good. Omer Meyer, a little better. Still concerned about what's going on with him. He only got 15 minutes. Jakari Harris, only 4 points. Jacobson, just 4 points. A little disappointed in the bench, not just the lack of production, but every time there was a disruption in the starting lineup, things didn't go as smoothly.
I kind of just hope it's an off night for them. But Gray, you might have jinxed Liam Murphy. He only took one shot and he missed it, so you might have jinxed him there. But just kind of hope it's an off night for the bench. But throughout the season, they've been pretty good, and in some games have really kind of went above their calling. So
yeah, that's true. But the Iowa State game for sure, and this one, just a little bit of concern. Of course, when you win by 20, and as you mentioned, could have won by 40, there's not a lot to pick on. But that was one thing that concerned me just a little bit, is that the bench just doesn't seem as good as we thought they were going to be.
And to your point, we're always going to have something to pick up on, or to clean up, to pick on. And so this game is the bench scoring, but I'm confident that they'll have their head on straight here against Auburn on Saturday.
And you know what the other one is. And I don't know why they are so good on the offensive boards and not good at all on the defensive boards. It just baffles me. And again, Marquette had 15 offensive rebounds. They had more offensive rebounds than defensive rebounds. That's nuts. Yeah. And it's something that you can visually see. It's not just the numbers. They're always in position to get the rebounds on the offensive end. They're always out of position on the defensive end. And Jake, my entire life watching basketball, that doesn't make any sense. When you're on the defensive end, you're between your man and the basket. You should be getting the rebounds.
I don't really know how to explain that. It is kind of a weird phenomenon there.
I'm afraid it's going to get them beat later, and it hasn't so far. The only game they lost, that was not the reason that they lost. But I'm afraid that's going to get them beat in a game when they can't keep the other team off the offensive boards.
Good teams like Michigan State or Michigan, Illinois, teams like that, certainly going to have to win not allow a bunch of offensive rebounds because those teams, will really make you pay. I'm sure teams coming in are going to game plan like, hey, we really have to hit the offensive, glass hard. Good rebounding team like Purdue can't be giving up 15 offensive rebounds.
Hey, Jake, later this week, you and I will preview the Auburn game, but just real fast, want to touch on Auburn. They beat Chattanooga by 14 points yesterday. They've been playing pretty well. It's a pretty good team, still ranked in the top 25. But man, when they've played good teams, they've gotten blown out. Arizona beat them by 29. Michigan beat them by 30.
I kind of hope Purdue can do the same thing on Saturday. Kind of blow them out by 30. They're still a good team. Still got some really good players. And
some good wins. They've beaten Oregon, St. John's, NC State. And I said they've been blown out by good teams. They only lost by a point against Houston as well. So there's no doubt that's a really good challenge going into the Big Ten.
After them, you have Kent State, and then you're back in the conference play against a good Wisconsin team on the road. So, yeah, be a good test here before we get into conference play.
And you will be at the Auburn game, correct?
Yep, absolutely.
And you will be at the Kent State game?
Correct.
So we will get full reaction from Mackey Arena from Jake after those games, what it was like inside the building, as well as reaction to the results. So that's awesome. Jake and I will be talking a lot of Purdue basketball coming up in the next few weeks. We'll also talk some Purdue football. There have been several players announced that they're heading into the portal, and a lot of players, of course, available from other schools as well. We'll be talking a little Purdue football as well, and maybe a little women's basketball. Jake, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you. Boiler up.
And thank you for listening. Please do us a huge favor. Share this podcast with a Purdue fan in your life. Help us spread the word that the Central Indiana Sports Report is here talking about Central Indiana sports every single day. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.